Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cup of Christ. You already know what it is. It is time to get this word in. Y'all, the last couple days I've been feeling, actually the last couple weeks, honestly, I've just been feeling super heavy. I've been missing people that I used to have in my life that I just had to let go. And I was thinking of all my friends and the people. And I was like, what better way, I asked God, what better way to explain how I'm feeling than to give a word on it? And so I kind of want to dive right into Psalm 55 that talks about the trust in God concerning the treachery of friends. Raise your hand or type it in the chat if you've ever experienced somebody that you really thought was your friend and you realized you never liked me from the very beginning. You never really had my back. It's hard. It is so hard when people fail you like that because, and that's not to say that I've never failed anyone in showing up and being a good friend, but I'm talking about I really thought you had my back and you realize you never really cared. David experienced this, and we talk about all the time how David in the Bible was this man, right? He was called a man after God's own heart. And I think that it's so mind-blowing kind of that David was considered a man after God's own heart when his heart always seemed to be broken. And I was listening to a sermon earlier, and my pastor was basically talking about how sometimes God has to bring you through so that you can come to your senses. It's easy for us, right? When we're going through something, that's when we can call on the name of Jesus. That's when we realize that God is our only help. That's when we realize that nobody can satisfy or help us the way that God can. And I think that God allowed David to experience so much pain and so much angst because it kept him in a consistent posture to be after God's own heart. That was good. And so I kind of just want to read it. It's about a page and a half, but it's a pretty quick read. He says, Give ear to my prayer, O God, and do not hide yourself from my supplication. So right off the bat, David is expressing yo, this is not just a regular prayer. I'm not just hey God, I would really appreciate your opinion on this. This is a child calling out to his father saying, God, I need your help. God, I need you. I really need you to see me right now. It's a deep, urgent request coming from a place of dependence on God. God, I don't have any other way. I need you to hear me. He says, attend to me and hear me. I am restless in my complaint and moan noisily because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they bring down trouble upon me, and in wrath they hate me. And so David is saying, I know that I'm loud and I know that I'm noisy in the way that I'm complaining and I'm moaning and I'm groaning. And I have been feeling that so loud. Every single day I'm God, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like my spirit is just stuck and my flesh is just even more stuck? What is this feeling that I'm feeling? I know you're there, and it's not that I'm questioning your presence. It's not that I'm questioning what you're doing in my life, but my flesh literally feels like I'm stuck in mud. What is this feeling? And David is saying, I feel the same thing. But something that I found really interesting was when he said, for they bring down trouble upon me, and in wrath they hate me. So it's almost like you got me into something, and because you got me into it, now it gives you a reason to hate me that much more. What I've experienced in my life and in my people who thought that I really was going to have for the rest of my life and just didn't work out that way is that it would be an instance where they put me in a situation, and then the way that I reacted to the situation that they put me in made me the bad guy. And God had to really open my eyes to show me, why are you around people that keep putting you in position to react out of character anyway? Would a friend genuinely put you in a position like that? Would someone that you consider loved and appreciated, somebody that you would not even think about handing your life over to, somebody that you wouldn't even think about coming to in a matter of need, showing up 4:00 in the morning, why would they put you in a position for you to even have to feel like that? It says, and in wrath they hate me. Wrath is not just a normal, I'm upset with you. It's I hope something bad happens to you. I really hope that you don't make it through the day. Wrath is a different kind of anger, and it comes from deep within. And what I really truly feel as David is going through this, and as I have gone through this, is that you have to stop surrounding yourself with people who hate themselves so much that it's easy for them to hate you. Because the reality of it is, the reason why I went through what I went through wasn't because they hated me. It was because I was such a safe spot as a friend in their life that they could take out on me because of my loyalty, because of my, sometimes even my codependency. They knew that I would always be there. So it was easy for them to take all the things that they couldn't stand looking in the mirror and seeing and put it on me. He said, my heart is severely pained within me, and the terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling have come upon me, and horror has overwhelmed me. So I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Indeed, I would wander far off and remain in the wilderness. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. This hit me because as he was talking about how he wished he was a dove, doves are very romantic and they're kind and they're sweet and they're calm and they're peaceful. God, to my knowledge, has never once said you're going to be like a dove. He said you will soar on wings like eagles. But the thing about eagles is that they go through a lot more than what a dove would. An eagle goes through some things. When an eagle, what I learned, when it's time for them to level up per se, they fly themselves to the highest point that they can and they beat their own beak until it comes back. And there's going to be seasons in your life, if it's not this one, where you're going to want to be like a dove. I will fly away. Oh my gosh, I would just go. I would run away from all this. That God is going to call you to stand in and say, even when they do talk about you, stand in the storm. Even when they are saying things, stand in the storm. Even when they are trying to sabotage, even when they are at your neck, stand in the storm. Stand in my peace in the storm. Stand in my strength in the storm. You will soar on wings like eagles. You will soar, meaning that when it's time for me to build you up, when it's time for me to uplift you, you're going to soar. You're not going to have to feel the need to fly away. He says, destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it on its walls. Iniquity and trouble are also in the midst of it. Destruction is in its midst. Oppression and deceit do not depart from its streets. And verse 12 really hit me. It hit me so hard that I about cried. For it is not an enemy who reproaches me. Then I could bear it. Nor is it one who hates me, who has exalted himself against me. Then I could hide from him. But it was you, a man my equal, my companion, and my acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked to the house of God in the throng. This part hits because it's not the people that you expect, it's the people that you never expect. I showed up for you. I loved you. I forgave you. I stood up for you. And this is how you do me? Type it in the chat. How many of us have felt you're talking to me? I loved this person with my entire being. You can even say that I idolized this person at one point, meaning that I put my entire self into them. I put my entire energy into them. How could you do this to me? It'd be different if it was somebody that I expected, somebody that's shown themselves to be a hater for a long time. I thought that my haters were my motivators, but really what it was you never loved me. You never cared about me. It's not an enemy who reproaches me. I could bear it. It's not the one who tried to express that they were better than me. It was you, a man my equal. We went to church together. We studied the word of God together. And that hurts. And I don't want to rush past that feeling. It hurts. It hurts when you trusted someone. It hurts when you put your entire being into someone. It hurts when you felt like they were your safe space. But sometimes this is God allowing us to go through it so that we can come to the fact that God's our safe space. That everything that you felt comfortable telling them and opening up to them and putting your entire being and your traumas into hands that just were ready to just use it against you, you can trust God with those things. And what the enemy tries to do in this space is manipulate the fact that maybe God's just like that person. But I want to be the one to tell you that that's a lie from the enemy, that God does not operate like man does. And I know sometimes it's easy for us to look and to say, God, are you going to tell my secrets? God, are you going to use that against me? And the answer is no. He says, let death seize them. Let them go alive into hell. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was kind of crazy. Let them go down alive into hell. I want you to feel it. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. He says, but as for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Even evening and morning and at noon, I will pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. And I think that this is important because it's not the severity of the situation, it's the consistency in David's prayer regardless. In the morning, in the evening, and at night, I'm going to make sure that God is coming out of my mouth, that God is the one that I'm talking to, that God is the one that I'm confiding in, because obviously my friends don't got it. He said, he has redeemed my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. For there were many against me. God will hear and afflict them, even he who abides from of old. So when he says that he will redeem my soul in peace from the battle, sometimes the very people that you're trying to build are battling you behind closed doors. There's a reason why they love being a listening ear. They're listening for information. There's a reason why they make you feel so safe on purpose, because they have a deeper understanding. They have a deeper agenda to try to come up with a way for them to use it against you. Like, some people do not have a good heart like you do, love. Some people genuinely just want to know what you're going through so that they can use it against you. And that happens so much more often than we'd like to admit. The people that you think, like, I really want you to sit back and think about. I really want you to sit back and think about what your genuine close circle looks like. And before I've ever, like, this is my first time reading all the way through Psalm 55. And I realized that the last season of my life was exactly Psalm 55. Of God, I trusted these people and I love these people. And how am I the bad guy? I was the one who was there. I was the one who was honest. I was the one who was open. Oh, what about me? No one cares about my feelings. Nobody cares to ask my side of the story. And God's saying, you're either going to call upon me, or you're going to call upon your own understanding. You're either going to call upon me, or you're going to try to defend yourself. He says, because they do not change, I'm almost done, therefore they do not fear God. He has put forth his hands against those who were at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. You know how smooth butter is? You ever taken a knife? I used to even play in the butter because it was so smooth. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. People are going to talk so kind. There's going to be people, and this is why discernment, this is why belief in God, this is why relationship with God over religion is so much more important than we like to admit. Because if you're not aware of the fact that the enemy comes like a wolf in sheep's clothing, you're going to fall for when they can recite Bible scriptures. You're going to fall for when it seems like, oh, you've been through this too. You're going to fall for the false safety. God in this passage is righteous, as he's always been. And David is expressing that God's gonna work on his behalf. You're not gonna have to defend yourself. You're not gonna have to fight for yourself. He says God. Right? And in verse 22, this is like the bang of it all. So earlier in the text, it was, God, this is what I'm going through, and I'm just calling upon you, and this hurts, and I can't believe it was my friend and not my enemy that turned their back on me. Verse 22 says, cast your burden on the Lord. There's a certain burden that you feel like you've been carrying because you should have been a better friend. You feel like you should have been a better friend. You feel like maybe if you would have expressed something differently, maybe if you would have approached the situation differently or said something differently or came a different way, or maybe if you listened better, cast that burden on the Lord, and he shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. Sometimes when you need God close, that is your signal to stand still. Because as soon as you get hurt, as soon as you get all these feelings of I'm not good enough and all these other things, the first thing you want to do is like, okay, I'm moving, right? I need to hurry up and go to the gym. I need to hurry up and keep my mind busy. He will never permit the righteous to be moved, which means nobody can just shake you any old way, but you can give people the okay to shake you. Don't give nobody the okay to shake you. Stand firm on what God said about you. They brought issues into your life and then blamed them for you. And sometimes maybe you may have been the other side of, you know what, I did kind of bring that to them and I am guilty. Either side, I'm talking to both. I'm not judging either one. But what I'm saying is he does not permit the righteous to be moved. And he finishes out by saying, but you, O God, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men shall not live out half their days. but I will trust in you. And I don't know who this is for, but this is God saying, I need you to trust me. I know that they left your life the wrong way. I know that they hurt you. I know that they broke you. I know that they abandoned you. I know that you never thought that they would do such a thing, but I need you to trust me. I need you to trust that I'm placing in your life who belongs there, that I'm removing out of your life who doesn't belong there, that when it's time to elevate you, I'm going to place people around you who can keep up with the calling on your life, and some other people are not going to be able to keep up, and we're not going to spend this season making sure that everybody else can keep up. So if they fall off, trust me. If they break up with you, trust me. If they hurt you, trust me. God is saying no matter what this season looks like, no matter who goes against you, no matter what they say about you, no matter what the situation looks like, I need you to trust me. And not only do I need you to trust me with the pain and the burden that you're feeling, but I need you to trust that I don't operate like that. I know that that hurts you. I know that that wasn't fair. I know that it was undeserving. I know. I've seen it. I've been there. I went through it with you. I went through it before you went through it. I need you to trust me. So when you're thinking about trusting in God in a season where everybody feels like they're turning their back on you, remember that you serve a God that will never turn his back on you. Nothing, nor life, nor death, nor angels, nor darkness, nor anything under the sun could ever separate you from the love of God. God will never turn his back on you the way that they did. And if you're a friend who's turned your back on somebody, it's time for you to go to God and say, God, change my heart. Because I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to be the friend that nobody can count on because I was too busy listening to just go gossip to somebody else. God, tell God the truth. Whatever side you're on, tell God the truth of the pain that you've either caused or endured, and allow God to just marinate in your heart. God, this hurts me, but I trust in you. I trust in you. I trust that I'm a new creation in Christ every day. I trust that my God goes with and for me in every single way. God, help me to trust you in this season. God says that trouble will come, but take heart because I've already overcome the world. Every part of the world that's trying to raise itself up against you, continue to trust in God and allow him to exalt you in due time. Don't try to run from it. Don't try to be like a dove when God called you to be like an eagle in this season. Stand firm and strong and stable on the fact that I know who I am because God told me who I am. Not because of your validation, not because of me craving your affection. God gave me everything that I need. So even if they do leave, I'm still good. Because you know what? No matter what the situation looks like, if God has it and God has me, that means I have it. Because I can do all things, what? Through Christ who strengthens me. It's not my strength that I'm doing it off of. It's not my understanding that I'm doing it off of. I'm doing it off of the God, the Father, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, that lives well and alive within me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You got this, friend. As always, if you liked today's video, go ahead and give it a like, comment something that stuck out to you, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.